It is time for the Zack Martin Show. One of 6 Cowboys to be leading their position in Pro Bowl voting. The future Hall of Famer joins you. Brought to you by Ford, your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. And a good afternoon, sir. How the heck are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing outstanding, thanks. And congrats on leading your position once again. Was there ever any doubt that you would?
What's that?
Was there ever any doubt that you would lead your position in the Pro Bowl voting?
I don't know. I don't get caught up in that stuff in the season. We got a pretty big one Sunday night, so that's where my focus is at right now.
Right on. So, what are you thinking about these Eagles? It kind of looks like that the defense has gotten into a little bit of trouble since you last saw them. Is that what you're seeing on tape, or what do you expect?
No, I mean, shoot, they're a damn good football team. They've they've obviously gone through a little bit of a gauntlet here, but when you turn on tape, they got guys all over the place, and especially up front on that defense, they're really led by their defensive line. So it'll be another great challenge for us, another big divisional game, and these are the fun games. These are the games you live for. So it'll be a good one Sunday night.
This front's been nasty for a long time, though, Zach. I mean, thinking back on some of these battles, has this been the team out there, not just the division rival that you feel like you're preparing the most for over the years?
I would say just consistently over the years. I mean, they obviously are in the division, so we play them twice a year. But, yeah, they're as consistent at the front as we play year in and year out. And obviously they've got a group of guys who have been there a long time. Obviously added some really, really talented younger players, obviously with Carter and Davis. But, the rest of those guys have been there for quite a while.
Yeah, Zach, I was going to ask you about that because you do have a kind of a history with some of their guys, but what have you learned about, and we see it on the tape, just massive dudes, just hard to sit down on and hard guys to move. What have you learned about the young guys in the times that you've been able to go up against them? Yeah,
they you kind of hit it there. I always say, defensive linemen, when they've got power, that's something you always got to think about. And they've done a nice job of putting together a defensive line that all have some bit of power, but also have moves off of that. So anytime a defensive lineman can throw you a fastball with their power, it gets you thinking a little bit, and then obviously they got their moves off of it. So again, it's going to be a big test. Like I said, Carter, I think is a very fine football player, and then Davis is playing really well this year. He's gotten a ton better since last year. He's really holding down that middle of their defense, and he's a big man.
Zach, what was it like yesterday at the Star? Coach goes down with appendicitis. Have you had appendicitis ever? I don't think any of us had on the show.
No, I haven't. And I saw him leaving in the morning, and someone was saying, "Oh yeah, he's got real bad, stomach pains or whatnot." And then they told us later in the day that he was going into with appendicitis. So obviously a tough deal, but. Sounds like he'll be back, and it'll be great to have him back.
So if he weren't back, does that mean you guys then get to just pick at him, make fun of him because he's not as tough as you, clearly?
Yeah, and then, they've done a really good job. Our coordinators have done an awesome job this week keeping it smooth, keeping the schedule consistent. Bones has kind of been taking over that the team meeting roles, and then, obviously DQ and Shadi handling during the practice. But it's been it's been a smooth week, and those guys have done an awesome job.
Zack Martin here with you on your home of the Cowboys, 105.3 The Fan.
Now, I am curious how much better the body feels going into a game with 10 days rest as opposed to sort of the usual week.
Yeah, no, it was those. It's like a give and take with those with the 3 games in 12 days. It's a tough stretch, but you really do get kind of a mini bye after that second Thursday game. So was able to kind of relax, hang out with the fam, recharge this weekend, and then get back to it. But it is tough, but at the end there's a reward, which is great.
Zach, the Here We Go has gone absolutely bonkers right now. Now, we know you guys have been implementing that since minicamp, but there's several stories from your standpoint. How has that really helped you guys along the offensive line?
Yeah, so the backstory kind of is we were trying to get off the offensive linemen trying to get off the ball as fast as they can, and different guys were timing up the cadence, and we were kind of getting off at different times, and blocking schemes when you're getting off not at the same time are not always great because you can't time up your footwork and all that. So we came up a way with that here we go to kind of time everyone up. And then also I think the big thing for us and the great thing about the cadence for us is we've been able to throw a lot of different variations of the cadence with that and kind of working into some of our quick counts and other stuff like that. So it's been great.
Yeah, but the Eagles just they're it's not here we go, it's just go. I mean they're you ever see them on tape, Zach, and wonder how they get away with the way they set on the edges?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of it. I mean,
how did they get away with that?
If you do slow, it's pretty impressive because it's like it looks like they're offside, but when you slow it down, it's like they're on. Wow, they're on the ball, and it is impressive. And I think our scout team this week has done a really good job of emulating that. But I don't know how they do it, because the Kelsey's head bob or head snap is so quick.
Sure.
There's got to be something else that keys those guys into getting off. But, yeah, they do a great job of getting off.
Well, that's the one thing that we always, Cowboy fans, always talk about. Like, this John Hussey this week, he ain't going to call them jumping offsides.
Yeah, bleep that John Hussey guy.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, John Hussey favors home teams as a referee this weekend.
7-0 referee this game. Just letting you know, Zach, right? That's probably going to be number one for me.
Good nugget.
Yeah.
How's the home field advantage feeling these days? Zach, it's got to be by far the best streak since you've gotten here, maybe the best in team history dang near.
Yeah, it's been great. And, that one Thursday night was big for us, I thought, just for our football team. We've had, a stretch of games there where, we were really getting after teams and we were coming out there in the fourth quarter, and to have kind of one of those hard-fought wins, find a way to win. Defense comes up with a couple huge fourth down stops, and we're able to get points out of them. So, a really critical game for our football team there Thursday night against the Seahawks.
Hey, Zach, I got to do this job where I have to also do scouting tape of college players.
Yeah.
I watched Joe Alt the other night, and I'll tell you what, man, that kid, I think he's the best tackle in the draft. I think
he's a stud, isn't he?
I tell you, he is. The Penn State kid is good. Alabama has a kid that's really
Alabama's
good.
right tackle is good.
But I'll tell you what, I scouted his dad. That's how old I am. But I'll tell you what, man, for a guy that's 6'8", moves the way he does.
I met him a couple springs ago. I went up
Holy
there.
Jeez.
And he is big, and he looks like he's filled out. He was still a little skinny. I think I was up there right after his, I think it was his freshman spring.
Man,
and,
he is super impressive. The way he
is.
moves.
I think Coach McCarthy coached his dad there in Kansas City.
Oh. Yeah, absolutely. His dad was a Pro Bowl player 2 years, in the early '90s, and a hell of a player from Iowa. So
yeah, I always get. I mean, it's always crazy to me. Maybe it's because I was a 5-year guy, but the guys are coming out after their third year and. How ready they can be. It just.
Oh, he's plug and play.
Oh yeah,
he is so
crazy.
plug and play right now.
I know. He's got he's got good technique. He's nasty. He's long. He's big. He's everything you want to tackle.
Okay, so you gave me a little bit of that scouting report there. If you had to put your scout brain on and you're going ahead and evaluating these offensive linemen, because I'm about 6 in right now, and we have a stud class coming out. What are you looking for in some of these college linemen as they transition to the NFL?
Yeah, I think the prototype, obviously length is at tackle is huge. It's funny. They always told me that when I was coming out because I played tackle in college, and
right.
I was like, I don't think it's that big a deal. And then a few years ago, I kicked out the tackle for a few games, and you realize those extra couple inches on the arm length really do help when you're pushing guys by the quarterback. So definitely that length and really athleticism and. Just hope you go to a team with a good line coach who can help develop you.
Zack Martin with us here on The Fan. I read a story about Dak today, his routine, how he's taking care of his body, but there's a little nugget in there about him straight bar bench pressing 375 pounds for a 1-rep max. I'm just curious if you think is he fudging those numbers a little bit, a little inflated.
That may be off-season Dak. I'm not sure about in-season, but off-season, Dak gets after it in the weight room now, so I could see that. I don't know if I've seen it with my eyes, but I could definitely see it. He gets after it in there.
What's the most impressive thing you've seen from a teammate in that weight room?
I mean, just look at Tyron. Anytime
Yeah.
he lifts, it's pretty.
Freak.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. You know, you got the rest of the offensive line, and then you look over at him, you're like, oh my god. You know, the thing that's crazy about him too is like we had an off season where I remember he went like on a couple trips maybe during the off season, and every time he came back from the trips, like he was stronger. I'm like, you're just on the beach for a week. How are you stronger than when you left? So he's just an absolute freak. So if you want to see some lifting, go in there and watch Tyron do it.
Tyron's the man to watch.
Okay, but if we were all in the weight room right now and we were like, Zach, would you please impress us with something? Like, what's the thing that you would do to be like, okay, watch this right here.
Heavy back squats.
I'm solid. I'm not like freakishly strong, but I would say I'm definitely above average in the strength column. I got a pretty good bench, pretty good squat.
Well, you definitely did a good job when it came to putting the Christmas tree decorations up, and you had your little girl over your shoulders. I saw that picture that came out, dude. Is it FOCO USA?
Yeah, FOCO.
And hashtag hoodie season. That hoodie looks absolutely incredible. How do we get one of these?
Dude, it feels like I don't think I ever had one. My wife maybe had one of those like Snuggies, and it's kind of like that. It's like a giant hoodie, but the inside is like almost like this like it's super soft, like sheep wool or something. So it's I'll get you hooked up. Don't worry.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go. Yes.
Look at that.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Walter.
Zach,
Tis
you
the
don't know what you
season.
just did. That's one of those things. I'm sure you had some nights there in Notre Dame you regretted. You might just regret that one.
Happy Hanukkah to me.
Yep.
He's still blowing up DiNucci about one of those hats from 18 months ago.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
okay,
you-
Jordan,
you-
I'll
you-
let
He's
you-
didn't
long
come through
gone,
for
man.
us.
You're out. You're out. Hey, you hit up Sean McKeon's got. He's the hat guy. Him and
Okay.
Beach are pretty tight. So they, if I ever need a hat, that's who I go to.
Hey, Zach, you guys got after the Eagles offensively the first time. I mean, it was, I think, 406 to like 290 yards. You outgained them, but at that time the red zone was 29th in the league. That's what you guys were scoring, and now you've made up so much ground that you're middle of the pack in the red zone. So you've been catching up and doing mad work since then. What do you attribute that to? Is it as simple as you guys are healthier up front now, or how do you look at that?
I just think execution. I think, man, it's not. I mean, get the ball into the playmaker's hands and execute up front. So I just think the execution has been great. Something we talk about a lot in the red zone is the scramble drill and above the 2.3. I'm sure you've heard Coach talk about that. We've had a couple touchdowns off the scramble drill. So. Just doing it different ways, and I think the big thing is execution when you get down there, because it's not a lot of fun when you have a 12-play drive, get down to the red zone, and then get stopped.
Okay, speaking of getting stopped, this is going to be outside the box, so if it's stupid, just let me know. You're good at that. But but okay, so with this short yardage play from Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
Would you think you might have a good chance of getting Kelsey before he can fire through there? The defensive linemen are so good at knifing through and playing their techniques, but I think what we might need to stop the push is offensive linemen versus offensive linemen. You ready to play both ways or what?
That's stupid, but
Thought so. I was worried about that.
no, man, I do have to give him credit. I think it's I've watched it a lot, and it is pretty impressive what they can do there. It's tough because you don't know the count, right? So I'm sure, I don't know this because I don't have the volume, but I'm sure they're going on hard counts. I'm sure they're mixing it in and out. So, man, it's just a tough play. The biggest thing I think the worst thing you can do is jump over.
Okay.
The more I watch it, because those guys, they get so low, they almost like dive into the ground, almost like nose dive into the ground to cut your quads out and like your knees out from underneath you, and then just kind of the momentum of everyone pushing. But I think you just gotta try to time it up and get as low as you possibly can and hope that there's a scrum there that you can stop him.
If Roger decides to take away the back's ability to push, how much less success would they have, you think?
I think they'd still be very good at it, but it does help. The push definitely helps. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I think it's, if everyone was doing it at the rate they were, I could see them being like, all right, this is dumb, we're getting rid of it. But man, every week you turn on the tape and the team's trying to do it and they get stuff. So, I don't really know what to say to it.
Yeah, I think I'd be ticked off if I was their owner and they took it away.
I think they were 34 or 36 before the
they're a good sneak team regardless. I mean, do you think that there's an injury risk involved in the play? Because I think that's the reason they might be looking at wanting to take it out.
I mean, maybe just because when you watch it, I mean, they like swan dive on the ground, like straight nose dive down. So that maybe that's the reason, but other than that, it's just no one else is doing it like that.
Hey, Zach, remember this is the defensive line too that likes to jump through the center's legs when you try and spike the ball.
Oh yeah,
so be alert, right?
Yeah, we watched it. We watched it this week. Oh yeah.
Okay, I knew you were ahead of the game on this one.
Yeah.
Trying to do my part here.
We're going to get a little extra S talk from you, sending Shaq Leonard's way this weekend.
Man, what the heck, man? He was in the building last week, but it is what it is. We'll move
that
forward.
NIL money didn't come through like it should.
Yeah, but that you're going to pancake him once or twice, he'll start regretting it in no time.
Made the wrong decision.
do the night games, how much does that change your game day routine? Does it throw it off a little bit?
Dude, I used to be a huge, like when I first got in, I loved the night games because you get the whole day. You kind of get to, I don't know, just kind of relax, get your mind, body right, all that stuff. But I think the older I've got, the night game is it's a long day. We get up, we come in, we do walkthroughs and meetings in the morning, and then you're home for a few hours, and then you go to the stadium, and then you start warming up. I mean, it's a long day, so you really got to be in it mentally. But I've shifted. I'm a noon. Obviously, we've talked about this before. I'm a noon game guy all the way.
It's just so tough when you're leaving and the kid goes, "Oh, Dad, you got to go to work all day. When are you going to be back?"
Yeah,
that's what it is for me.
Yeah, and then you got to, you get home late, and you got to wake up the next morning and come back in. So, but the nice thing is we do play a lot of them here, so you do get used to them, and it doesn't throw that big of a wrench into the schedule.
Right on, dude. Well, best of luck to you on Sunday. We'll be pulling for you.
All right. I appreciate y'all.
Cheers. There he goes. Appreciate you. Zack Martin here with you on your home.